President Trump has actually done more in terms of elevating HBCUs. He's moved that office back into the White House so that it's been empowered in a greater level, given a bigger platform instead of having it housed at the Department of Education. They have committed to the funding. There's no floundering on that part. And furthermore, on education, one of the things that I think is very helpful is the idea of school choice, which is very popular within urban communities because it allows students
That's true.
To move around, and he has been a champion for that, as has the Department of Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. So I think those are actually ways that we are taking bigger steps.
But on HBCUs,
and look, this wasn't a problem that was created overnight. We're not going to be able to fix it overnight, but we are taking very big steps in the right direction to move that ball forward and to empower those communities and to do more and kind of open up that conversation.
So if I may, the HBCU presidents, which I've talked to, I polled many of them. They were told that when they came in February, at the end of February, they were told by Steve Bannon that give us a list of what you want. And they wanted money for Title III. They wanted year-round Pell Grant, which they did get through Congress.
Which the Trump administration supported, but.
Okay, but they were working on it prior to, but that's true. But then they also had, they had asked for a one-time lump sum of $25 billion. And then when they heard what the president said about the budget, about giving to HBCUs could be unconstitutional because of race issues, that really made, I mean, the president did say.
That's not actually what he said, but it's fine.
Okay, well, what did he say then?
Do you have a response to that? Because I want to move down, and we'll come back to all of this.
We can come back to all of it. I think the broader point is that you want to launch these very generic attacks against this administration when we've actually done a lot of the things. Did everything on that list get completed? No, but several of those items did, and we're continuing to work to move and complete more of the things on that list.
But before we go, so, I didn't attack. I just gave you, I'm not attacking. This is civil discourse. I'm laying out what I was asked to lay out.
And look, this is.
I want to hear from you the defining moments on the negative side. There are always positives and negatives with every presidency. The defining moments in these 9 months, and if you could give us a look into that, and also, is this week a defining moment in these 9 months for this president?
Is this week a defining moment?
Yes, as it relates to Niger.
I would not say that this is the defining moment. I certainly think
one of many, or a defining moment.
I wouldn't characterize it as that. I think the media would like for it to be. They want to create a narrative that I don't necessarily agree with. And I think that there is certainly a desire to make this into a situation of kind of an attack point on the president. I don't necessarily agree with that process at all. I think in terms of the negative, I think the biggest negative would be Congress's inability to do their job. It's their job to legislate. It's the president's job to be the executive, to lay out kind of the priorities, the principles, help drive those, use the bully pulpit, which he has done. I think, to John's point, you've got a few people that are holding up, I think, a lot of progress. And to me, that would be the greatest negative, is Congress's inability to step up and do their job, particularly members that have been campaigning on a lot of these things over the last 7 years, some of them even longer, and now they have an opportunity to really step up and do some big things. I think it's oftentimes that it's not even the nature of the question, it's the way that a question is asked. So often I feel like certainly the question always comes from a place of like an accusation instead of actually just asking, looking for information. It's more like, you're a horrible person, please tell us why. And
how do you answer that question?
They actually think I'm a horrible person, so I don't know if that was for the
question.
Well, I don't know, either way. I do think that the
but that's
tone
always,
matters.
But Sarah, excuse me, that has always been the tone at the White House. In the White House press corps, John, you've covered other presidents too, right? The White House is a political circus. The State Department is very buttoned down. We talk about policy. The Defense Department, if you're a DOD, it's a very kind of focused, different sort of questioning. The White House is a political place. The questions always have a political tone. I'm not sure.
I think there's a difference between a political tone and a hateful tone, and those are not the same thing.
You think it's a hateful tone?
Not all the time, and I'm not trying to like overgeneralize the entire like White House press corps, or as Olivier mentioned, there are a lot of reporters that beyond the White House press corps, but absolutely. I can assure you, I mean, you look at reporters, not just some of their public statements, whether it's through their stories, but you look at some of their Twitter statements, you look at some of their feeds, and you cannot read through a lot of that and not say, this person absolutely hates everything about what we're doing. And it's hard to come to any other conclusion than that when you look at so many of the personal opinions that are injected into a lot of those. And I think that's a dangerous place at times.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.